Hello to all the wonderful humans. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well and welcome. I am Aboli and I make science-based skincare and hair care videos. If you are interested in that space, then consider subscribing to my channel. So today's video is a highly requested video. It is how to reapply sunscreen, and I'm going to show you how I reapply sunscreen on my skincare, on minimal makeup and on wedding makeup. So let's go. Now let's quickly talk about how to reapply sunscreen on your skincare. Now this is the most basic, doesn't require a lot of explanation. The only thing I like to say here is that you choose a good sunscreen which suits your skin type and which does not make your skin overly greasy or uncomfortable. So what I do is I am currently using the EQUIL Ultra Matte Dry Touch Sunscreen. And this is a very mattifying sunscreen, great for oily skin. So I start with this sunscreen in the morning. I would recommend starting with a mattifying or like a sunscreen which is not very greasy, so that reapplication will be easier. Now I have oily skin, so I have to go into removing the grease from my face before I can reapply anything. So what I do is two things. If I am outside, I always carry tissues because blotting paper is expensive and I cannot afford to use blotting paper all the time as I have extremely oily skin. So I just carry these tissues, tear them in half and use half at a time because tissues are not really good for the environment. So what I do at home is I use these small white napkins. Now I have them only for this purpose. So what I do is I just take a corner and I just dab it so that I remove all the grease that I have, and instantly my face seems clean. You can see there is a lot of dirt also that comes out. There you go. Now the next step is to reapply your sunscreen. Now I'm using the EQUIL one. I'm taking this much. Make sure that you put your sunscreen all over your face, your ears, and then the neck as well. There you go. This is how you reapply sunscreen on your skincare. Now, reapplication of sunscreen is important if you want the maximum protection. However, this should not consume your attention throughout the day. Skincare is important, but it is not the only thing that you should think about. If there are days that you don't want to reapply or you can't reapply, then it's okay. Now let's move on to how to reapply sunscreen on minimal makeup. That is usually those no makeup looks. Now the key to apply a sunscreen on makeup is to choose the correct sunscreen again, and according to your skin type, and also sunscreen which would spread more easily, not those sunscreens which clump up or cause peeling. These sunscreens will really mess up with the makeup that you have already done, and you put in so much time and effort into putting this makeup. You don't want a sunscreen to really go and spoil that makeup. So choose the correct sunscreen. For me, what works on makeup are many sunscreens, but these two have been working the best. That is the Bio UV Essence and the UV Protect Super Aqua Essence from L'Oreal. I'm going to talk about the UV Perfect one. I'm going to apply this one on my makeup. Now this one is the Super Aqua Essence and it spreads very easily. It is SPF 50 and it works great over makeup. You will also need a sponge. I am using this very generic sponge from Amazon, and I am going to use this to just take the sunscreen and to just dab it on my makeup. You need to be very light-handed. You need to use a very less surface area so that sunscreen does not get absorbed in the sponge. Use a sponge which is not very thick. So don't use the beauty blenders because they absorb a lot of product, and we do not have so much money to keep buying sunscreen if sponges start absorbing sunscreens, right? Just take a little bit to begin with on your hand. As you can see, it is a very liquidy sunscreen, so it will spread very easily on your makeup. Just take it on the tip of your sponge and start dabbing it in. Yep, start dabbing it in. You can go by zone wise to remember which place you have applied the sunscreen and which place you haven't. As you can see, this does remove a lot of product, you see, but you can always reapply your concealer. So there you go, this is how I've reapplied. Now what I'm going to do is just take a very little bit of concealer. See how little it is? Yeah, and just, you know. Now the next thing is to use a nice powder to set all of this, and if your powder has SPF, nothing better than it. But remember, powder sunscreens do not give you the kind of protection that you think that they give. So if you're using a powder concealer, say which has SPF 40, which the LACME one has, you're not going to get SPF 40 on your face, because the quantity of powder that you will be using on your face is significantly less. So consider that you will get between 5 to 8 SPF, and that is not a lot, but it's not nothing. So you're going to put it over your SPF, which is 50. So you are getting 50 of SPF and then again 5 of SPF, so that's a good amount of protection. I'm going to use is the Fit Me one. This has 28 SPF, so as I've said before, you can guess that this must be giving you maybe 2 or 3 SPF on your face, so not a lot, but well, it helps. You have to use it to mattify and to, you know, finish off your base. There you go. As you can see, I do not apply a lot of powder, so I am sure that I'm not even getting the 1 and 2 SPF that I'm talking about. So there you go, this is how I apply my sunscreen on minimal makeup. Now let's go and talk about full-fledged makeup. Hello, so this is my full-fledged makeup. How do I reapply sunscreen on this makeup? Okay, so I have a layer of sunscreen already underneath it. On that I have a layer of color corrector. On that I have a layer of foundation, and on that I have a layer of concealer, and on that I have a layer of powder. So those are 5 layers that are already there on my skin right now. You cannot apply a lot of sunscreen or foundation or powder at this point, which is during reapplication, because then your makeup will look really cakey, and you've put in a lot of effort to get this. You really do not want to spoil all of that with the reapplication. So the theory of it remains the same. You need to reapply with the sponge like we did for the minimal makeup. Now I have applied blush right here. There is eyeshadow here, and on the other parts there is my base. Now I'm not going to do anything to my eye. I cannot reapply sunscreen on my eyeshadow. That is not possible. So I'm not going to do that. When it comes to the colored areas, I am going to do it after I finish my base, so that, you know, the colors do not mix up. So I'm going to start with the base areas, which are just the foundation and concealer without any other colors in it. So what you can do is use the same sunscreen that I've talked about, the L'Oreal one. It is really good sunscreen to reapply. However, with the L'Oreal, with any sunscreen, it removes some of the foundation and concealer, and then you have to put it all back. So what I've realized is that you can use tinted sunscreens. The EQUIL tinted sunscreen is again working really good for my skin. So if you use like a tinted sunscreen, it would give you a little more protection, and even if some of the foundation is rubbed off, you still have like a layer of the tint which is there in the sunscreen. Now the problem with this is that it will not suit all shades, right? Everybody's complexion is different. So if this sunscreen, like tinted sunscreens, give you a white cast or the grayish cast, so this is not the color for you. What you can do is the previous method, use a normal sunscreen and then just pat it off and then just use a little bit of foundation on top. What you shouldn't do is mix sunscreen and foundation and then apply it on your skin. That is going to give you a very uneven protection because you're going to mix it on your hand and that is not going to get evenly mixed. And that is one thing that people forget, that even during the formulation of sunscreen, the chemical filters or the physical filters in the sunscreen should be equally distributed, so that if you apply it on your skin, each and every point should get equal protection, which will not happen if you mix sunscreen with anything. You shouldn't mix sunscreen and moisturizers, you shouldn't mix sunscreen and foundations. It is going to give you a lot of uneven protection. So I'm just going to take this on my hand, and again our old sponge. Now this is a silicone based sunscreen, it is not liquidy, so you need to work it in a little more. There you go. You see the shade is very different than my original shade, so I'm gonna have to go I think with a little bit of foundation afterwards. Let's see. Start with the zone, go in, dab it in only on the base first, which does not have any color. Make sure this does not touch your lipstick, otherwise you're gonna have pink blotches all over your face. That's not going to be fun. There you go, a little dark spot. Dab it in and not rub, so that you don't remove the concealer foundation that is there on your face. You're just dabbing it in, so you're reinforcing the blending essentially. I'm going to turn the sponge so that I get a cleaner area, and I'm going to go over with the colored part of my face on the blush that I've applied and just finish off. The next thing I'm going to do is use a Fit Me Compact, which has 28 SPF. As I've said before, do not expect it to give you 28 SPF. So I have to set my under eyes. They've been acting very moody. Yeah. So this is how you would reapply your sunscreen over skincare, over minimal makeup and over wedding makeup. I hope you guys have liked the video. If you have, then please leave a comment down below. Also like the video and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, bye bye.